You murdered this man.
Yes.
You tortured him.
Of course.
There is no ambiguity, and there is nothing you want to... In court today, you said you're not here to pretend to be remorseful.
Of course not. Why would I do that?
Are you remorseful?
Not at all.
Why?
Why would I be?
Well, why did this man deserve to die? You claimed he was a snitch.
Well,
what proof do you have of that?
He told me he was a snitch.
He told you.
On many occasions. But that really doesn't matter. Why did you guys want to kill me? Phoenix wanted to kill me. What's the difference? Everybody has a reason to kill.
The incident, can you tell me anything about what happened during those 3 days while you were...
What do you mean?
No.
I took him to my house, walked him down the street. I don't know why the media acts like the mother couldn't walk. He walked very well. Walked him upstairs, kicked his ass, killed him.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another true crime video. So the opening was a bunch of TikTokers, including myself, lip syncing to an interview of a murderer named Angela Simpson. Angela Simpson committed a horrible crime, which I will talk about, but the interview she gave after is what really makes this story interesting. They actually inspired that TikTok trend, and they also inspired the main character of the Amazon Prime series, Killing Eve. I'll get to all that, but first we need to talk about the crime that led to all these interviews. So the year was 2009, and in a low-income, high-crime area of Phoenix, Arizona, lived a 33-year-old woman named Angela Simpson. On the surface, Angela seemed like a smart, engaging person. She would be the one, helping her elderly neighbors take out the trash and things like that. But beneath the surface, Angela had a lot of trauma. In her childhood, she was abused and physically. She was shuttled from foster home to foster home. And all of this trauma might have made Angela become the person she became. But Angela makes it clear that she doesn't want anyone to feel sorry for her because of this.
And you don't want to talk about your past, but your lawyer said that, in sentencing you, the judge should bear in mind that you've had a really tough life.
I started being hospitalized at 10 years old. I have a mental history from 10 years old until present, so, yeah. When
you say mental history, I mean... Do you care that anyone feels sorry for you? Do you want anybody?
Feel sorry for me?
Yeah. Should the people who are watching this say because she had a bad childhood?
Of course not.
Because she had mental illness?
Of course not, no.
That we should feel some sympathy for you?
No.
You would not have that?
I want no sympathy, no.
So as Angela grew into adulthood, she developed addictions to drugs and alcohol. She did have 4 kids, but she lost custody of all of them because of her addictions, and because she was a criminal, she was an unfit mother. You see, all of her adult life, Angela was in and out of prisons because she would commit crimes in order to fund her addictions. So, stealing, carjacking, fighting, sex work, the whole thing. Angela would be arrested and put in jail for one crime. She would get out, commit another crime, and go back in. So she never had a real normal adult life either. Angela really did develop a reputation for herself on the streets. She lived by a really strict street code, and in Angela's code,
Homos are definitely beyond any doubt the worst and most vile creatures on the planet. Yes, snitches then would come in second, and cops would be third.
There's also a rumor that when Angela was younger, one of her best friends got ran over by a police car, and that's where she developed her hatred of police. I personally don't believe that, but I thought I'd put it in here.
I told my kids when they were babies they saw a guy behind a Circle K. I told them that's how cops grow. So, yeah.
Where does that come from?
Where does it come from?
Your hatred of cops.
That's not something I'll discuss.
So, in August of 2009, Angela and her friend Edward McFarland, whose nickname is Cracker, really classy tattoo by the way, Angela and her friend Cracker broke into the home of a local sex offender named Joseph Von Tress. They tied him up, terrorized him, stole his money, and promised they would be back. And actually, Angela would later say that...
Right, and I regret not killing my other victim. I should have killed him too. I just didn't have time. I had to go somewhere.
And tell me who that other victim was.
Joseph Van Tress for the armed robbery. Yeah. I should have killed him, but I had to go.
And they actually sought out this person to rob because he was a sex offender. So in Angela's mind, he deserved it. On August 6, 2009, Angela and Cracker were arrested, and the police really wanted to talk to Angela. But not about the robbery, about something much more terrible. The day prior, police actually received a call from a local church saying that the dumpster behind the church was on fire. When police got there, they discovered it was actually a human body on fire. The body was really badly burnt, and the only thing police could tell from it was that it was a male body because of the anatomy. The man had had most of his teeth removed, and his legs had also been chopped off. So when media and locals heard about this story, everyone started to freak out because they worried about their own safety with this maniac on the run. The church where the body was found, Covenant of Grace Christian Fellowship, that church actually released a few statements. They said, that even though such a horrible discovery was made here, that this was still a house of God, and anyone who wanted a sense of community was welcome to come to the church. So even though the body was really badly burned, police used technology to put partial fingerprints together and identified the body as 46-year-old Terry Neely. I couldn't find a lot about Terry, honestly. I just know that he served some time in prison also. He also had both mental and physical disabilities, and because of these disabilities, he lived in an assisted care home. He also got around in a motorized wheelchair, one of those scooter things, rascals or whatever they're called. Terry could walk. I don't know if he just couldn't walk well or couldn't walk long distances. I don't know what his disabilities were, but he could walk a little bit, but he still used a motorized wheelchair mostly to get around.
I don't know why the media acts like the motherfucker couldn't walk. He walked very well.
Anyway, police went to the assisted living facility so that they could talk to the people who worked there and the other residents. They couldn't find much about Terry though. No one seemed to know much about his personal life or who his friends were. All they knew is that they hadn't seen him in 3 days. Police pulled CCTV footage that showed Terry leaving the assisted care facility in his motorized wheelchair around 8 p.m. on August 2nd. And police couldn't find the motorized wheelchair. It wasn't with Terry's body. And it was actually someone who called in to report a report of an abandoned wheelchair in some grass in an apartment complex a few blocks away from the assisted care facility where Terry lived. Police got there and confirmed that the wheelchair was Terry's. Police go and start searching the entire apartment complex unit by unit, and one unit in particular stands out. Completely empty except for some bloodstains, a floor-length mirror, and a bottle of bleach. It also looked like the carpeting in that unit had been torn out. Blood was linked back to Terry Neely. At this point, the apartment's manager comes forward. He says that he saw smoke coming from that unit the other day, and when he went to check to see what was going on, he saw Angela Simpson and her friend Cracker in the kitchen near a City of Phoenix garbage bin. Angela told the apartment manager that she had just disposed of a body of someone she had killed, and if he went to the police and told anyone, she would kill him too. So the cops go to find Angela in jail where she's already serving time for the armed robbery, and Angela says if they just give her some candy, she will tell them everything, and she does. Angela explained that she had known Terry from around town for a while. He was a client of hers, and they also did drugs together, and they were like acquaintances. But at one point, Terry started bragging to Angela that he was a police informant. So this changed her opinion of him.
It's just too much. The things he talked about, it was too much.
Do you believe him? I mean, lots of people go around claiming I'm a snitch or make themselves...
Really, you don't say.
Well, I think they talk about law. I know people come. I've got associations with law enforcement. You know, I've got this. I'm a friend with this.
Do you happen to have a list of those people?
They name drop. Well, maybe in the circle, but you know
Right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
People say lots of things to make themselves sort of look.
Well, he picked the wrong to say that to. If he wanted to brag about putting so many people in prison, he picked the wrong person.
And
so.
that's what did it to him. That's why you.
What, the bragging?
The bragging
Oh, yeah.
about putting people in prison.
Right.
People you knew.
No,
But
I don't know any of them.
Okay. Do you believe him? Do you think he really was a snitch?
Oops, if he wasn't.
So on August 3rd, Angela lured Terry to her apartment with the promise of sex and drugs. And when she got there, she tied him to a chair in front of a floor-length mirror so that he could see himself being tortured for the next 3 days. Angela beat Terry with a tire iron. She pulled out...
Ripped his teeth out. That's my favorite.
How'd you do that?
With some needle nose pliers. Kind of rip, you know.
What made you think of that,
What made me think of it?
to do that?
Prior tooth pain. Pretty agonizing, yeah. I thought maybe I could distribute that.
She hammered a 3-inch nail into his brain, which still didn't kill him. She stabbed him over 50 times with different things.
Did you pull out his teeth? Did you put a hammer into his head, put a nail in his brain?
Yes,
Was he alive during this?
some of it.
Was he watching, looking at a mirror?
Yes,
Why'd you do that?
because I wanted him to see what he deserved.
Full time, Angela was not letting Terry drink or eat anything, so he was soiling himself. After the 3rd day, though, Terry was just exhausted and was not responding to Angela anymore, so she was bored with him. So she decided to finish him off by strangling him with a telephone cord. She then slashed his throat to be sure he was dead.
Anything I can do to help put a snitch down is my pleasure.
So it was your pleasure when you committed this murder?
See, that's kind of up. I'm thinking, I don't know what my lawyer would say if I answered that straight out. Hold on, yes. Yes, it was. It's pretty rewarding work. It's great for the soul.
What were you trying to get out of it?
He thought it was funny that the people he had snitched on would never get out of prison, so I wanted him to know how funny it was that they didn't need to.
She then cut off Terry's legs. She had planned to dismember him completely, like all of his limbs, but I guess the legs were just a lot of work and she stopped there.
Is it hard to chop up a human body?
Nah, not really. You'd be amazed. It's quite simple, actually. You should try it. It's only a felony 6. Knock it down to a misdemeanor. Dismemberment it's a really low charge.
She then borrowed her friend Cracker's car. She took Terry to a dumpster and set him on fire. So that's the horrible crime that Angela committed. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that Cracker was more involved, but Angela took sole credit for it, and police seemed happy with Angela's confession.
Did you act completely alone in that
Yes,
crime?
definitely.
So nobody else helped?
No. Totally alone.
The crazy stuff, though, is what happened after Angela confessed to police. She started giving crazy interviews. She first talked to CNN, and she claimed in that interview that she had killed other people as well.
Angela, is this the first time you've done this?
No,
It's not the first time. What else have you done?
that's not.
But you've killed other people?
Well, they'll find that out.
Will you admit that you've killed other people?
Well, yes,
You've killed other people. How many?
that's irrelevant.
Why did you kill them?
Same reason.
While Simpson doesn't consider herself a serial killer, she claims she's killed a few.
I believe informants and child molesters should be killed, period.
As for Neely, she tells us she lured him inside offering drugs and sex, then after 3 days of torture, dumped his burned body in this trash can.
And when police tracked it back to Simpson, she was already in jail accused of an armed robbery the day after the murder. And her reaction?
Kind of relieved, actually.
Why relieved?
Well, because finally.
Finally what?
No, I just,
Finally they caught you?
yes.
Because you've been doing this for a while?
Yeah.
For how long?
A while.
Simpson admits she takes medication and might be considered mentally ill.
You think something's wrong with you?
I think something's wrong with the world that I live in, but according to other people, yes, something is wrong with me.
As for something being wrong with murdering Terry Neely,
Angela, do you feel guilty?
Guilty? For ridding the world of a snitch? No, I don't feel guilty.
As she was awaiting trial for Terry's murder, she talked to one of those Lockup shows.
I heard they said I was possessed by the devil. I think that's hilarious. Isn't that beautiful?
The media says you did some pretty heinous things. Does that bug you?
Does it bug me? What people say? No. My give a f is broke. I really don't. I have no concern for what people think. I've asked God a lot to spontaneously combust officers, just to watch them pop. One from my brother. I got to send that to him. It's from the Pigs in a Blanket series. Don't you love the Pigs in a Blanket? It's just so cute, isn't it?
Angela, you must see that it makes things contentious with the officers.
Of course not.
It's not exactly conducive to a good rapport between you and the officers.
I think it is. We know what we are, they know what they are, and what's the, there's no problem.
You don't think that that's slightly insulting to them? Or slightly threatening?
No. Can I show you one that is? Maybe it could be threatening, but I didn't mean it that way. This was my first officer down picture. That could be rude, but not really. Illustrations. I might make a kid's book or something, for the baby gangsters coming up.
Officer Down series. Tell me about that.
5 or 6 Officer Down.
What's happening in this picture?
A cop has been captured and we're having fun with him.
Angela was sentenced to life in prison plus 25. She didn't think this was a fair punishment, though.
I should have gotten the death penalty.
Did you want the death penalty?
No, I'd prefer to spend my life with my sisters, but yeah, I do believe that would have been justice.
So you deserve death penalty, but you're glad that you got what you got.
Right.
After her conviction, Angela gave her really bizarre interview that went viral.
Do you care what anybody thinks about Angela Simpson and what you have done?
I don't.
You claimed that that other people had been killed in that same part. You had killed other people. Have you killed other people?
No, I've never killed anyone else.
So that was something, just talk.
Right.
How do you feel about spending the rest of your life in prison?
I got a lot of family in prison, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I got many sisters in prison. I can't wait to see them. It's really not that much of a punishment to be sentenced to spend my life with my family. Right.
But your belief is that you deserve the death penalty.
Definitely. Well, I believe God. That's what God says. Unless God is wrong, which I doubt, so.
And would God has told you that, or you just believe that?
I believe
eye
that.
for an eye.
Right. I expected to die for this.
You're sort of an interesting character, because first of all, women generally don't commit crimes this heinous.
Right.
This is usually the domain of men.
That's unfortunate.
You think more women?
Oh yeah, equal opportunity, definitely.
I did this, and I did. Do you think you did the right thing by
killing
this guy?
Definitely.
Other than shooting his mouth off, what else did he do that you know of?
That's what he got done for. He's white trash. Somebody had to take it out. That's it.
Was there a racial component to it?
Oh, there's always a racial component.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
I'm not going to elaborate on that at all.
Okay, but the fact that you're a black woman and he's a white guy, that factored into your killing him?
Yeah. I wouldn't kill another black individual.
Okay. Would you, if you had that moment to live over again?
I'd have kept him alive a week.
But you would have still tortured him and killed him?
Oh, I'd have tortured him for a week, yeah, instead of 3 days. Definitely.
Will you kill again?
If the opportunity arises, I hope so.
Today, Angela Simpson is 45 years old. She converted to being a Muslim in prison, and she's a devout Muslim now, looking for pen pals. I will leave a link below if you feel like writing her. She's interested in talking to people about Islamic culture. So if you want to write her, go ahead, tell me what happens. No judgment here. She also found someone to marry and now goes by the name Angela Simpson Hodges. So earlier this year, TikTok got a hold of Angela's viral interview that she did after she was convicted in 2013. And they did what TikTokers do. They started calling her a queen and praising her for being upfront, not trying to make herself a victim. Just messed up. People also took the sound clip from that interview. Some of them tried to reenact it. And
why did this man deserve to die? You claimed he was a snitch.
Well,
what proof do you have of that?
He told me he was a snitch.
He told you.
On many occasions.
No.
I took him to my house, walked him down the street. I don't know why the media acts like the motherfucker couldn't walk. He walked very well. Walked him upstairs, kicked his ass, and killed him.
And some of them did their own thing.
You murdered this man.
Yes.
You tortured him.
Of course.
There is no ambiguity, and there is nothing you want to... In court today, you said you're not here to pretend to be remorseful.
Of course not. Why would I do that?
Are you remorseful?
The actress Christa from the movie 13 Going on 30 actually took part in this acting challenge, and she got a lot of backlash for that.
Why did this man deserve to die? You claimed he was a snitch.
Well,
what proof do you have of that?
He told me he was a snitch.
He told you.
On many occasions.
No.
I took him to my house, walked him down the street. I don't know why the media acts like the motherfucker couldn't walk. He walked very well. Walked him upstairs, kicked his ass, and killed him. No, I don't know any of that.
Okay. Do you believe him? Do you think he really was a snitch?
Oops, if he wasn't.
The hit show Killing Eve on Amazon Prime is actually based on a bunch of different murders, but the main character, who is actually a psychopathic female assassin, the creator of the show says that that character was actually based on Angela Simpson.
Alright, so there you have it, the story of Angela Simpson. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you very soon. Bye.
Good shit, dude. That's going to be crazy, isn't it? That's going to be wicked. Make it look good, please.